Trump and Harris prepare for campaign finale. This week, as Labor Day generally marks the end of the presidential election cycle, campaigns will explode around the country. Updates on the presidential race. This week, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald J. Trump will tour several states in a rush following a weekend off. Labor Day is the start of the fourth quarter in American politics. Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, will visit Arizona and California this week, while Mr. Trump addresses the Fraternal Order of Police National Board in Charlotte, NC on Sunday. The campaign of former President Donald J. Trump distributed testimonials from family members of deceased U.S. military slamming Vice President Kamala Harris for criticizing him for politicizing Arlington National Cemetery. It was the latest move by the Trump campaign to defend itself following a physical incident between a Trump staffer and a cemetery official over the campaign's defiance of a restriction on political marketing at Arlington Cemetery last week. Most of Mr. Trump's family members signed the Trump campaign's statement during that visit. On Sunday, Corey Lewandowski, the manager of Donald J. Trump's 2016 campaign and a newly appointed senior advisor to his 2024 campaign, said Mr. Trump would not change his strategy in the final weeks of a race in which he has lost ground since Vice President Kamala Harris replaced President Biden. "No, definitely not," Mr. Lewandowski responded on Fox News when asked if the campaign was planning a pivot. The event website has postponed a Thursday gala at former President Donald J. Trump's golf property in New Jersey to collect money for Capitol rioters on January 6, 2021. Mr. Trump had not planned to attend the J6 Awards Gala, but it garnered attention for its focus on his strong bonds with those who stormed the Capitol on his behalf at an awkward time, as his campaign to return to the White House nears its end. The event's website didn't explain the postponement or provide a new date. According to text exchanges obtained by the New York Times, the major planner, Sarah Maccabee, who leads the Stand in the Gap Foundation, which supports January 6 defendants, said she would try to reschedule it for after the November election, maybe in February. "I want you to know that we fought until the absolute last minute to have the event," the texts continued, "but there were several obstacles outside of our control, the primary one being safety concerns of attendees and staff." Ms. Maccabee is married to Tennessee Deputy Sheriff Ronald Colton Maccabee, who is serving 5 years for assaulting Capitol Police on January 6. At Mr. Trump's golf estate in Bedminster, New Jersey, the former president tried to normalize January 6 by honoring Capitol attack participants. Gala attendees paid $2,500 for a single ticket, or $50,000 for a platinum table of 12, to meet the families of indicted rioters and win a custom plaque commemorating Justice for All, a song featuring a choir of some of the most violent riot defendants in Washington's local jail and Mr. Trump reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. The featured guests included former Trump aides Rudolph W. Giuliani, who is under indictment in Phoenix and Atlanta for trying to help Mr. Trump overturn the 2020 election, and Peter Navarro, a former White House trade advisor who served 4 months in prison for ignoring a House committee subpoena on January 6. The event's future is uncertain, but it was consistent with Mr. Trump's efforts to rewrite January 6 history. He routinely attends private parties with January 6 defendants and calls them hostages and political prisoners. Mr. Trump has often promised to pardon Capitol attack suspects, including police officer assaulters. By portraying his supporters as victims of a corrupt federal law enforcement system, he has strengthened his relationships with them. If he wants to attract independent voters, Leonizing rioters who violently disrupted the presidential power transfer may be riskier in the general election than in the primaries. Naturally, Mr. Trump faces many conspiracy accusations for January 6. Last Monday, federal prosecutors re-indicted him on fresh charges to comply with the Supreme Court's recent judgment allowing past presidents sweeping immunity for official activities. The same day as the Bedminster fundraiser, a federal district court hearing in Washington will determine how to examine the Supreme Court's decision's impact on Mr. Trump's case.